I want to go across first to S.Y. Qureshi. Dr. Qureshi, can you set the context by explaining to people who are watching this broadcast what you think the most likely interpretation of the Sharia under Taliban 2.0 is going to be? Taliban 1.0 was a nightmare for the Afghan people, especially the women. Noses being chopped off, ears being chopped off, public hangings, some women even being shot. Taliban 2.0 is at least publicly putting up a facade of being more moderate, but they say they'll rule by Sharia. Will it be a more moderate version of Sharia? What should people really expect them to do?
Well, the fact that they said they will go by the framework of Islam or Sharia, in other words. I wrote an article in Indian Express this morning in which I spelled out what is the framework of Sharia. Sharia consists of four components, and the foremost of which is the Quran, and followed by the Hadith, which is the traditions of the Prophet, what he said and what he used to do. Besides that, in juris interpretation and the legal construction, these are the next two tiers. But the top two tiers are the fundamentals of Sharia. And I have quoted verses after verses from the Quran and Hadith after Hadith to show that the men and women were created equals. Repeatedly, Allah is saying through various verses that we created you equal, men and women. And even the Quran Sharif is addressed to men and women equally. So, categorically it says that we have created you equal. Therefore, we expect that if they are promised to follow the Sharia, this is the Sharia which I have, without my own comment, just the quotes from the Quran. I hope they know all that and they will follow what Sharia prescribes. The dignity, the equality in everything. In fact, to the extent that the individuality of a woman, even after marriage, she is not supposed to change her name to get subsumed under her husband's name. You know, that is the nuance and the beauty of equality and rights of women, which I think that they need to understand. I'm sure they do. They seem to be speaking a better language this time.
Shukla Zadran, you're in Kabul as Afghan youth representative. Are you hopeful that this time the Taliban will interpret the Sharia in a more moderate fashion? Or are you very apprehensive that the Taliban will, like they did in the late 90s when they were in power in your country, once again pick the most brutal, the most radical interpretation of the Sharia?
Thank you very much for having me. See, it seems like they are claiming that they will provide the necessary freedom and rights for women, but we should consider that they really need to avoid the international pressure by preventing women from their basic human rights. So, as you mentioned, that if we look into the past and we look into their previous regime, rationally there is very less hopes for Afghan women. We can't be so much positive when it comes to our rights and Taliban regime. But on the other hand, if we look into that they really need the legitimacy and international recognition, and to avoid the international pressure. So I think to some extent they have to try to protect women's rights.
How has life changed in Kabul under the Taliban regime? If you were to look back a few days ago under Ashraf Ghani's regime, and when you compare now for young women such as yourselves and for others, explain to our viewers, ma'am, how has life changed?
Few days ago, we were hopeful. We were planning for our future. We had a high moral, but nowadays nothing has left. Everything is gone, and we are living in a total unclear state. We don't know waiting for us in upcoming few days. We lost Republic and we are now living under rule of Emirat. There is a power vacuum and there is no political leadership. Not only women, but everyone prefer to stay indoors, and there is less crowd, there is less vibration as it used to be before. Life is like Kabul is totally silent, and everyone is just waiting that what is the upcoming event. More importantly, the recently world is witnessing that everyone is trying to leave. So actually a brain drain is happening right now in Afghanistan. Intellectuals, bright individuals are desperately trying to leave because they do not see a bright future for themselves here in Afghanistan. There is a very less hope for them. So everyone is trying to leave, and everyone is trying to seek protection and security out of Afghanistan. So just imagine what kind of circumstances we are living.
No, we feel for you.